Hey everybody, it is Mike Young, a digitalnomad.net. Thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to make a video while this was fresh in my mind about my trail running accidents this weekend. And you may have seen the videos here on the channel. And if you didn't, excuse me, you can go check them out. I'm still recovering, but as normal in my videos, I'm standing up. Okay. I went to work at my landscape business this week. If you guys didn't know, I have that during the growing season up north in the DC area. And my running accidents, along with Denise, I was with Denise, she didn't get in any accidents, happened on Sunday. So let me kind of recap what happened, because those other videos were really short. There was a couple short clips that actually showed two of my accidents happen on the trail when I was recording on my phone. I know I shouldn't have been, and got in two wipeouts. And then the third one was no recording at all. Sorry, I need some water. Anyway, let me get into it. We were on the Appalachian Trail. We started at Rockfish Gap, which is at I-64, right along the south end. It's right at the south end of Shenandoah National Park. So we ran south of there. So we didn't go in the Shenandoah National Park. We went into like the Blue Ridge Parkway area south of there, because that's the north end of the Blue Ridge Parkway. It's Skyline Drive when you get into Shenandoah National Park. Anyway, it seemed to be fine starting out. I was running with people, talking with people. I wasn't even seeing all the trail because I was running right behind people and talking, and it was no problem at all. But all of a sudden, when I started making some recordings, and that probably was part of the issue, it just seemed like there was jagged rocks. I mean, I've made recordings before on other trail runs we've done, and I've never run into these instances. I've never wiped out more than once, and it's been like few and far in between. Never has there been 3 times in one run. So the first time I actually dropped and rolled, I kind of knew what was happening. I could feel that, and so I kind of went to the side and kind of got control of everything, and no problems. If you look at that first video, which you can see on a digitalnomad.net, you'll see that nothing happened to me. It was all good, dropped and rolled. Second time though was a different story. I don't know why. This rock just kind of came out of nowhere. It seems like there are pointy rocks sticking out of everywhere that I couldn't see. And I was going fast, and my foot just slammed into this rock. And of course, when that happens at speed, you just go fly. And in both accidents, you can hear my metal water bottle slam onto rocks, okay? This clanging metal sound. Thankfully, because it could have been worse, that could have been my head banging off a rock. And in none of these instances that I know of or remember, my head was involved, which is amazing. Every other part of my body seems like it's scabbed up, bloody, or scarred, or something like that, some combination of that. So on the second one, it was bad. So bad that I didn't even know where my phone was. If you look at the video, there's like a period of almost a minute where I'm looking for my phone. I couldn't find it. Found the water bottle, found the keys, but they were all scattered. And that one, unfortunately, resulted in a gash on my knee, or just below the knee. Pretty hard. And sorry, still my raspy voice. It resulted in a huge, which I haven't even looked at 100% yet still, because I hate blood and stuff like that. A huge flap of skin being torn down off my below my knee, which resulted in a huge amount of blood and amazing amount of pain. Let me say that, huge amounts of pain. So I was, it took me a minute to find my phone. It took me another couple of minutes to kind of get my bearings and figure out what was going on. We were already like a mile and a half or so in, maybe further. And I realized I got to get back. I'm like, how am I going to get back to the car? Look at my leg. Ow, I can barely walk, and it's bleeding all over. And there's this massive flap of skin. Who knows what else is going on? And my water bottle had this huge dent in it. That second one hit so hard, it put this massive dent in the water bottle. So I'll remember this. This will be a good reminder of that dent and why it got there. So Denise shows up, and she's like, what's going on? Because I guess I looked okay until I pointed down at my leg, and she's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, I got to go back now. Let's start walking. You just go run, I'll walk. And I was walking for a little while that I could remember. Of course, my adrenaline's really pumped up. It's already 2 wrecks in a row. But then I started feeling better. And I started running, and I actually passed Denise at one point, and I remembered that we'd already passed a stream, like a really high mountain, clear flowing stream, probably spring fed. So I figured I'm going to run over to that stream and I'm going to start flushing out the cut, which I did. And actually, I made some video of that the first time I did it. And then I started feeling better and better. And we just kept going back and forth, back and forth. And I kept flushing out the cut every single time, which was great. I flushed it out 3 times. And believe it or not, we ended up running 7 miles. And unfortunately, that was not the end of it, though. All of that was good. And I could have handled that probably, even though there's this massive cut. I mean, massive. Oh, let me also say, I've had some comments by saying like, Mike, you're so thin or whatever, I can't believe you didn't snap in half when you hit that rock or whatever, gashed your gashed your knee wide open. And I'm like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. But then the more I think about it, I'm like, well, what about hip problems? What about knee problems? What about foot problems? What's the number one reason why people have issues there? Believe it or not, it's not genetics. I mean, yes, this does run in families because there's similar behavior patterns, but it's excess weight. Excess weight, because when you lose control, and I'll tell you, I totally lost control on I lost control on the last 2. First one, I lost control, but I was able to regain it and drop and roll. The other 2, I could not regain control. I lost control and I was down for the count. Okay. I mean, I was just like at the mercy of whatever was in the way. So I'm saying I'm very thankful that I didn't hit my head. But the reality is, when you've got excess weight in those situations, you're going to hit exponentially harder when you do hit. Does that make sense? Let me know down in the comments. I know that I'm not putting this on my plant-based channel, which is aplantbaseddiet.org or plantbasedvideos.info. Go check it out. But I'm just telling you guys, as a way that you can learn from this, is that you're much less likely to get injured when you do fall. It's not a question of, just make sure you never fall. You're going to fall. So the only question is, what is going to happen to you when you do fall? And on that second one, as bad as it was really just a gashing of the skin. I didn't twist anything to the point of needing surgery or rip anything, tear anything, like, ACLs, ligaments, whatever. None of that happened, which is amazing, because I told you, I kept running after that. As much pain, it was horrible pain, but the weight, I mean, I'm right in the middle of normal. I'm almost 6'2". I'm in the 150s. Okay. Like, I know it's weird that I'm not 205.9 like most people in America. All right. But most people in America, most guys, are overweight or obese. And it's not good when you fall. It's not good. This is just some helpful hints to you guys, because I do think that this played a large part in me not getting injured anymore on that one. Now, let's fast forward to the third fall. Third fall, I was back into it. I was running, I was moving, I was feeling really good, and I was speeding up faster and faster. I was like, oh, it's like it never even happened. And like I said, I washed the cutout 3 times with fresh flowing mountain stream water, high elevation, and boom, then I just wiped out again. I lost complete control. Everything went everywhere. This time I went down the right side of my body and I landed on my palms. As you can see, there are scabs from when I went. I don't recommend doing that, because that's a great way to break your wrist. Actually, I thought I fractured my wrist that evening when I was trying to cut stuff in the next morning. But if it was a fracture, it already healed. And that's the great thing about living right and being in a good state of health, is the recovery time. I mean, because all this just happened on Sunday and I felt it right away, but it healed so fast. And I've got road rash all up and down my, like on my arm here, you see, and in my legs and all this stuff down here, and all kinds of internal bruising. I'll tell you, okay. I mean, I just like thug, like right into these rocks. And of course, every rock there is connected to another rock. It's a mountain, and none of it gives. So that really hurt. I felt like when I combined all that together, it felt like I was in a fight with the Appalachian Trail and I lost. And I still had to run back to the car, walk back to the car. And I tried to go to the store afterwards. Denise and I were going to go into the grocery store. My leg was still bleeding. I probably should have gone to the ER, because usually, like, one of the main reasons why you would need stitches is if you can't stop the bleeding. Bleeding was stopping, but it's just on a part that moves a lot, near my knee. It's right near my knee, just below it. So we were having problems with that, but we went ahead and got some giant bandages, and I put some pressure and stretched the bandage out so it created pressure, and everything seems to be fine. It's oozing a little. We put some antibacterial stuff. I never use any medications. I did in this case, even though I washed it out with fresh mountain spring water, just did that just in case, and everything seems to be fine. So it's just my report here telling you guys that, by the way, take care of yourself, all right? Because something will happen. Actually, maybe I'll put this on a plantbaseddiet.org because it is really related to this too. So if you're watching it on there, hello. Let me know your comments down below, by the way. Give me a thumbs up. And actually, in the lower right, there's 3 buttons. It says either thanks or just 3 buttons. And you can click through either one and go to the super thanks function. And you can tip me commensurately with the amount of value that I'm providing you with this video. And especially with our nonprofit, all donation based. It's fully tax deductible. So please, if you feel so inclined and you're getting something out of this, let me know by tipping us over there to our 501c3 nonprofit. So it's basically a wake-up call because so many people I have seen over the years cannot survive when they end up going into the hospital, the procedures that they have to do on you as you age because you're in such a poor state of health going in. But I am 53 years young. I am in probably, hopefully, the best state of health I've been in my life. And I really went down for the count here, okay, on Sunday. I really got beaten up and I was back. I did lay in bed a lot on Monday. I'll give you that. But I was out. I still went out Monday night with Denise and we got all our 12,000 steps in, which hurt, but I did it. And I kept going, and even Tuesday volunteered on the farm with Dave at Planetary Farms like I usually do. It was a very light day, I will tell you that. I wasn't bending all the way down to the ground because when I would bend all the way down to the ground, what would happen is it would put a weird angle and pressure on the front of my leg and it would rip that cut open potentially. So I'll have to kind of monitor that for the first week, I would say. And then I went to work with my landscape business yesterday. And again, I did things a little bit lighter than I normally do, but I still went. No days off. You don't need to. And I also want to let you guys know that the body heals itself. That's what it is. You've got to keep your state of health good, be in a good balanced state of health. And then when the inevitable happens, it's not some kind of freak thing. I mean, no one wants this to happen, but these things happen over time. Okay. The first 2, like I said, I had the phone in my hand. Third one, no phone. Maybe I was tired. I don't know. By the way, I did 7 miles that day. 7 miles. I completed 7 miles after falling 3 times. So just to give you some inspiration, let me know any stories that you have that are similar down in the comments. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't already. Thanks for listening to me, and I'll see you in the next video.